Welcome to another episode of the City Boy Show. I'm Javier. This is Danny.
What is up?
What is going on? Sad.
Upbeat music, but sad times.
Very sad times, sadly. Yeah, it didn't go as we planned.
Before we get to NYCFC, did you read the article posted by, I had his name, The Athletic?
Just say it was posted by The Athletic. It's not your boy. You don't know this guy.
I like to call everyone our boy.
Okay,
That's got me in trouble. Paul Tenorio.
You don't even know how to say the guy's
Paul
name.
Tenorio.
Definitely not your boy, bro.
I was a little butthurt. Everybody's butthurt because we might not make the playoffs. Then I go and read Paul's article in The Athletic talking about what MLS is missing by not having Messi in the playoffs.
Okay, and so what did he say? I didn't read the article.
You didn't read the article. It's hard to explain the butthurtness from not reading the article, but pretty much he's like, Leagues Cup got a lot of eyes. And is it a success or was it not a success? We think it's a success because the eyes were crazy on Leagues Cup, right? But it was also because Messi's here. So if Messi leaves, will people watch the Leagues Cup next year? So it's hard to measure, right?
Yeah.
But imagine the eyes that the league would have gotten if Messi was still in the playoffs.
Oh, okay, so you're saying that a lot of people would have been watching if Messi was in the playoffs.
Exactly. So MLS lost an opportunity by not getting them in.
Which I kind of agree with.
I kind of agree, but the way it was written, and I'm no writer, so I don't know what's the right way to read it, but I'm going to quote here, which I think is what butthurt me. Even though NYC wasn't even mentioned because I don't think we're going to make the playoffs, which already hurt my feelings. But then he goes, instead of Messi making it, right? Instead, MLS will now be serving up matchups between highly flawed teams without anywhere near the level of star power. Matchups like Montreal versus the Red Bulls or Chicago versus Charlotte or San Jose versus FC Dallas.
Well,
so he's saying, oh, now we got to watch garbage teams play because Messi's not in the playoffs, which these are the worst teams for the round in.
Yeah,
but at the same time, there are fans that follow these teams that care about these teams. There's some parity in the league to go and then say, now we got to watch It felt like he was saying, now no one's going to tune in because we're watching garbage soccer for the playoffs. And that hurt my feelings. Even if we don't make the playoffs, I was like, that's not cool, man.
But didn't we talk about the playoff system being flawed now that it has an 8th and 9th spot? Now, how important is the regular season? Because are you actually getting the best teams? And this is coming from a team that I want to make the playoffs, NYCFC, but we haven't played to a caliber that we deserve a playoff spot.
I mean, agreed, but that doesn't mean that the playoffs aren't significant and you're not going to watch quality soccer in the playoffs.
Well, I will say your 8th and 9th spot is probably going to be the worst show you could see out of all the playoff games. And Messi being in that spot would have brought some eyes to the game. I do agree in that sense.
You got to read it, man. I was upset. I think the way it was written, I felt like I agree with the point. I agree with the sentiment. If Messi would have made the playoffs, we would have had higher ratings. The way it was written makes it feel like it's not just the knockout game, but the rest of the playoffs are insignificant because Messi's not in there and the quality's now deteriorated because Messi's not there. And I disagree.
This is how I'm going to shut you down right now.
Okay.
And this is why he's right.
Why?
You're going to watch Charlotte versus Chicago Fire. No. Were you going to watch Messi versus Chicago Fire, let's say, make the playoffs? Yeah, you were going to watch that. So
I don't know about that.
He has a point. I think MLS has a thing where it's very local. You care for your local team, but then outside of that, you kind of care for the big name teams, LAFC, the Philadelphia Unions. But other than that, you don't really care to watch, like you said, Montreal Impact. I don't care to watch them. Do I care to watch Messi, the best player in the world? Hell yeah, I want to watch that game. So he has a point.
He could have written it better. I mean, I'm just saying, you can't go and go, oh, MLS is trash now that Messi's not in the playoffs. And that's kind of how it's interpreted. I think it was interpreted by a lot of people on social media too. And not just people who are like, I need to rate something so then I get some likes on Twitter. I felt it was people who truly believe that this felt very disrespectful.
Yo, the Athletic got to get those subscriptions, bro. Right now they're charging $1 a month. It's actually a great deal. I signed up just because it was $1 a month.
I almost want to cancel my Athletic subscription because of
big
something like
boy.
that. I was a little butthurt,
And then
man.
you realize you were paying $1. You're like, it's fine. But we got to get into NYCFC soccer, sadly.
Yes.
This weekend did not pan out as we expected, and it just felt like the Cinderella story was going to happen, and it didn't pan out the way we thought it was going to pan out. Let's get into the lineups. First thing, you look at the lineups. It was the same exact copy and paste lineup of our last game against Miami. What'd you think? Initial thoughts?
Same thing I said last week. Like, it's working. Did we win the game last week? I mean, we get tied against Miami.
Yeah, but we should have won.
We should have won the game. It felt like we need some consistency. If we're gonna make the playoffs, you want a lineup that's strong.
And
that's consistent, that has some form, that can succeed. Use a lineup. So I don't understand how Kufre keeps losing the job in the playoffs. Someone needs to explain this to me.
We're not in the playoffs. Oh, but you're saying like in the run up.
Yeah. I don't understand how that keeps happening. So I would like some understanding how Kevin O'Toole keeps winning the job. I mean, I didn't think he played poor this game.
No, I don't think he
I think this one opportunity he had to make it. If Kufre was there, that might have gone in. But I was okay with the lineup. What'd you think?
No, same thing with me. I think we kind of agree with consistency. Maybe we kind of screwed ourselves because we made the consistent team right towards the end, because then you couldn't really tinker with the lineup if you felt like there were some spots you could strengthen. But Parks, we saw Parks out of the lineup again, and he was completely healthy. Came in as a sub later, but I think it's kind of where you fill Parks into this spot when you have Perea and James Sands playing so well.
Which is interesting because I agreed with not starting Parks. I mean, he hasn't played. He's probably a little out of form, but Pereira had an off day. So it was like, could it have made a little different if Parks would have been in there?
I don't know.
But also if we wouldn't have won that game and Parks started over Pereira, I'd be out here like, what is Cushion doing?
Seriously, you would have lost your mind. You cannot bench Pereira.
Yeah,
he played way too well up until these games.
But that's what I'm saying. Who could you have benched where anyone would have been okay with it with the same outcome?
Yeah, you really couldn't.
I mean, unless you started Pellegrini.
No. People would have lost their minds. A key notable part of their starting lineup is Benteke did not play. So you're feeling like, all right, start of this game. This guy, I think it was his first start. The guy who took Benteke's place. I forgot his name. Hurtado. Yeah. I think they signed him from a different team. And he
played 7 matches this season. I actually looked it up. 7 matches, 0 goals, 0 assists. He didn't score technically this game either.
Bro, he scored almost like 3 that were all offsides. But
and what's interesting was the play calling team on Apple TV said that the game plan all year has been pass the ball to Benteke and see what he can do. So they were like, we have no idea what this game plan is going to be because Benteke is not playing.
I think he was leading the team in goals by like a significant amount. Like it was literally feed that ball in the box and he'll do something with the ball.
I mean, he was running for he was 5 goals away from the Golden Boot top.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had 14 goals. Golden Boot's 19.
Damn, the numbers are low this year.
You know what? I was thinking about that though. It's low, but Tati had like 21 goals and won, and people were like, "Oh, well, the goalkeeper, the guy last year had like 30 goals."
So they were downplaying.
They were downplaying him. But look at it. Maybe just we're talking about the defense is going up.
Tati Castellanos scored for Lazio.
He did, man. I really hope he becomes a starter on that squad. That'll be so fire.
He's definitely gonna get in some starts, bro. But I want to see him like in a major tournament, like Champions League or something like that. We haven't really seen him that much. Did he score that goal in Champions League? I don't know.
I don't know if it was Champions League. I don't think it was Champions League either. But still, I think he started. I mean, I think he played in the Champions League game and had an opportunity but didn't score. Hyped for him.
Hyped for him. Not hyped for this team. First half, Perea had a couple chances first half.
Yes, he did.
They set him up a couple times, but he was either wide left, wide right. It just didn't touch the net. But it was like Perea usually, as least, is usually on target, and these shots weren't on target, which was disappointing. And it felt like in the beginning of this game, DC was complete control of the game. Like, yeah, the goal didn't happen to the 45th minute, but they had multiple opportunities that they hit the crossbar or they did something else or it was called offsides. And it was just like, how did we come out flat to start off this game?
so flat when it's like I think, we kept talking about how Toronto was a trap game. This felt like the trap game. I think we came in there with too much confidence, working on that high. Although we didn't lose against Miami, but we got to draw Miami. But playing a team like Miami, who's considered like more upper echelon because they have a Busquets, right? And they have Jordi Alba, although he didn't start. But it was like we played really well against this team. We haven't lost the game in September. I think it was 6 games undefeated.
Yeah, 6 games undefeated.
And it was like this team is pretty much eliminated out of the playoffs unless 17 things happen correctly. The coach quit right after the game. It felt like this is a slam dunk. I don't think anyone was predicting the NYCFC loss, and you could tell that we just came out, like you said, flat. Like I don't even know where that confidence came. Like I don't get it. I don't get how we came out so flat. How Cushion didn't have that team motivated, because you're right. The first 45 minutes were completely controlled by that team.
Yeah, but I will say and it's so funny. The Cooligans actually did a tweet that was like, you ever seen the meme where the guy does like peace and then he disappears?
Yeah.
That was basically Wayne Rooney. Dude just won a game, got eliminated from the play, just like these NYCFC's hopes, and then just like peace. Destroys all our hopes of making the playoffs, and then just bounces. And then you know what's crazy? He was like, oh, I don't have anything lined up. 2 days later, he's like getting a job in the English Premier League. So he definitely has something lined up. But back to NYCFC, they had chances. And you know what? Even after the first goal, which happened in the 45th minute, it was a set piece, as we always allow set piece goals. Poor defense on the set piece. I still felt like we had a chance. Like I saw Santeri make some moves. I saw Talis Magno had like, it might have been the second half, to be honest. I don't remember, but he had that highlight reel that was being played everywhere.
Yeah,
like
where he fell on the floor.
Yeah, he fell on the floor. Nutmeg. The announcer was great there. He was like, oh, he got really into it. But with those two players, I always felt like we had a chance. Like I always felt like, all right, we can get past a defender and make a move and be dangerous. And it didn't happen, unfortunately. And I was just waiting for that moment to happen where they were gonna explode.
Although I gotta say, I felt that way until we made those substitutions. I think with the moment you said Talis Magno and Santi made you felt like you were still in the game. I felt like the moment they took Magno out of the game, I was like, I don't see this happening, man. I mean, we played so flat in that first half. We kind of came with some energy in the start of the second half, but that Magno substitution was tough for me. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if these guys are going to be able to turn this around. And when was the second goal scored?
No, it was scored in the 62nd minute.
Oh, yeah.
By Durkin.
And that's okay. And that's where I think that was my moment, actually. And then the substitutions happened a few minutes like after that. And so I do think it was like, I didn't feel the same after that second goal. I was like, okay, it's over. The season's over. I think that's where I scored after that second goal.
Was also now you have to score. Like I don't think any of us were content with the draw. Well, granted, a draw puts us in a little bit of a better spot, but it was like we need to win this game.
Yeah,
a draw doesn't really help us that much. So at that point, you're thinking, I need 3 goals right now,
and we couldn't so flat that first half.
Yeah, and we couldn't score for 62 minutes of this already. And we have to also put some blame on the defense. I mean, that Durkin one, I love Reese, and Reese has had an amazing year for us. He didn't clear the ball. It went straight to Durkin, and he scores that.
So maybe we should explain, because we didn't explain the first goal either. So the first goal happened on the 45th minute, like you said, by Klitsch, and it was a set piece. And you could tell there was some confusion because they're trying to set up that set piece, and you see Freese yelling, I think, at Santi or someone. He's like, move here, move there. And they're like trying to move. And then by that time, the ball was kicked. And you could just tell there was no one who had Klitsch manned up on him. And it was just like an easy goal. And then the thing is, there was like 2 set pieces before that where they were almost goals too. So it was like, and luckily they were called off sides. So it was like, where did we not practice set pieces? I mean, Benteke was supposed to be in there. He's probably pretty good on set pieces too. To see them like come out struggling so much in set pieces on defense, I was just like, come on, man. Are we making the same mistakes we always make?
Yeah.
It just felt like a lot. So that was the first goal. And then agree with you. There you have the second goal. And Risa had a really bad day. I mean, he got taken out for hack.
Yeah,
and
which he would have never done, especially if we were up and like he was playing solid. Nick Cushing definitely would have taken him out
100%.
But he was having a rough one.
He was, and that goal.
And honestly,
he
looked a little gassed because at certain points there was offensive players getting past him. I'm like, that usually doesn't happen.
Yeah,
he's not usually allow somebody to get past him past the back line.
And you know what I was thinking when Risa gave up that goal?
What?
Chanel would have given up that goal.
Damn.
And not to get anything from Risa, right?
Damn.
No. But what I'm saying is Risa's a young dude. There's a lot of pressure to win this game at this point, right? You're down a goal.
Has one bad game and you're ready to
No, I'm not saying let's give up on Risa. But what I'm saying is when you need a win, you want your veterans in there playing the game. Yeah. And Chanel has come in clutch all season with some defensive plays. He really stepped into that role when Callens left, and I was my first thought was I'm glad we have Reese on the team. I think he's going to be a great center back, but I do think that Chanel wouldn't have done that.
You know what's crazy also? That DC was eliminated at the half. I forgot who won. Who won that got him to that point? Somebody won it. It might have been
someone was up by like 2 goals. So I think it was Montreal, or what's the MLS standings right now?
Or was it Charlotte? Well, yeah, Montreal's in the 8th and DC United's technically in the 9th, but we know they're not.
I think Montreal was up like 2-0, and it was like, okay, that's absolutely no chance DC gets it now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they even had less to play for at halftime, and yet we still couldn't finish it.
That's crazy.
I mean, if we look at the stat line, we had 18 shots to their 14, which a lot of those shots came out towards the end. You know who was quiet the whole game? And I was just like, where is he? Did have one moment where he could have scored a goal where Perea did a lob over, but Munsef, I felt like there was no Munsef there. Either they never fed him the ball, he wasn't putting himself in the right place to get the ball, but it was like, yo, if you are a striker, you're asking for that ball. I just felt like I never even saw him with the ball till I think late in the game, around the 65th minute, he hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
Which was that one opportunity we could have scored after they just scored. Maybe would have changed the momentum. But other than that, I don't remember him all game.
Yeah, agreed. I think they did a pretty good job at making him non-existent and having to score on the wings, right? We had opportunities where O'Toole was open, where Magno had on the left, where Jason was available on the right. But yeah, they really locked down Munsef, and unfortunately, he just couldn't get that spacing. And that crossbar hit, man. Well, I said this last week, but I was like, Hibet would have scored that. I hate talking about old players, but it's just something. Hibet. I love Hibet so much. I mean, if we don't make it to the playoffs, Seattle's my team. Seattle's in the playoffs, right? That's what I'm cheering for, Seattle and Hibet to win it.
Yo, that crossbar saw a lot of action.
A ton of action. It saved both of our teams from more goals being scored.
That's true, because they also had a couple opportunities where they were dangerous.
Yes.
What else?
So what'd you think of the substitution? So I talked about it. I felt, they scored that second goal. I when I saw subs coming in, I was like, yo, is he gonna play Pellegrini? Is he gonna do it? You notice he did not put him in, which I thought was interesting. Well, he only used 3 subs.
But remember, no, he used 4 subs.
Did he?
Yeah. Kean Parks, Justin Hack, Alonso Martinez.
For Talis Magno.
Yeah. Well, no, Alonso Martinez, yeah, for Talis Magno.
Yeah.
And Julian Fernandez.
For Jason. So what'd you think of the subs?
Look, I thought the game was calling for Julian Fernandez, so I agreed with that sub. The one thing I would have said is why not sub out Baccarar? Oh, no, they subbed them out later, but you took out Talis Magno in the 72nd minute for Alonso Martinez. I probably would have taken out Baccarar from him, because at that point, like, we needed somebody out there. Baccarar didn't really show presence. Talis Magno was all over the ball. So I wouldn't have subbed Talis Magno that early at the 72nd minute. I would have gave him maybe to the 80th, because we saw him and Santi, at least they could cook. They could get past some defenders. Yeah. And he just didn't give him the time. I don't know why.
I totally agree with that. I was excited to see Alonso Martinez, but now when the game's on the line, I mean, how much Alonso Martinez, I think, has played one time with the team like 2 months ago. To put him in when the game's on the line, to me, Talis Magno didn't look exhausted. It looks like he could have still played. And I thought take out the players that aren't playing so well. And we took out Jason, but I also maybe I would have taken out Munsa, put Santi in the 9, and then put in more offensive players. I don't know who else you could put on offense because he did put in Julian Fernandez.
Yeah, he put in Julian Fernandez for Jason right in the 60th minute, which was I guess the right sub at the time because we were only down 1-0.
Yeah.
I just honestly I feel like it didn't matter who you were gonna put out there. Once we were down 2-0, it just felt like the momentum completely shifted. We're a young team, and we've talked about this all season. You're a young team. They haven't been in situations like this. Granted, you do have some guys, but like for the most part, a lot of these guys are young guys, and like it just didn't feel like there was gonna be that chance or that spark once they scored that second goal.
I mean, if we would have still had Gabe Siegel, though.
Gabe Siegel was known for his late night heroics, bro. Late in the game.
I hope he's all right. He went to Israel to play.
Oh, that's actually a concern.
Yeah, I was gonna hit up on Instagram and then I forgot, but
I'm sure he doesn't need you to hit him
just to see if he was all right. Just want to see if he was all right. So yeah, I wasn't okay with the Magno sub. I also didn't think. I mean, I get why you put in Hack, but I thought you could have just put in like more offensive substitutions. I just don't know who else we could have played. Pellegrini. Yeah, maybe, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Did you want to talk more about the game or like our playoff chances?
No, we can get into the playoff chances, but I guess just to not conclude this game, but this might be concluding our season because we're going to talk about our playoff chances, which are looking slim. This team was 1-8-8 on the road. 1 win, 8 draws, 8 losses. It wasn't good enough on the road. And that's what came down to bite us in the ass. And that's probably why we might not see a playoff spot this year. It has to be better on the road. And we just showed once again we couldn't get it done on the road. So I don't know how that changes. I don't know if it's just a young team building chemistry and how that eventually could then build this away record to be better. But we've always struggled on the road. And it has to change next season or we're going to fall into the same thing again.
I mean, 8 draws on the road isn't too terrible. I do think that, it's very normal. And they say because of the parity in MLS that a lot of the home teams win. That's like a normal thing, in general. But I don't blame. The thing is, when I think about the season as a whole and I go, man, what was the problem? Like, where did we go wrong? I don't go, it's because we didn't win on the road. I think it's because we went into the season without a full team. Like, I just think about, I think about it and I go, what if we had Munsef, Julian Fernandez, Alonso Martinez in the beginning of the season? Would it have been different? And that's where I come up to. So I go, why don't we if we don't make the playoffs, whose fault is it? Number one, I say is front office. I understand being patient, but waiting till August to give you a roster to me is ridiculous.
Yeah, and then I think that goes to our next conversation where then it isn't on Nick Cushing. Or we could say it's partially on Nick Cushing, partially on the front office.
Yeah, I would say like if I had to put a percentage, 70% front office, 30% Nick Cushing. And I just made up those numbers now, but my thought process is the front office did not help Nick Cushing because they gave him half a roster. But there was multiple times in the season where it was like, what is this substitution? How many times are you going to tinker with this roster? What's this game plan? Them coming out the flat that first half. How do you not put that on the coach? So I'm not giving Cushing like excuses. I think maybe if we had a better coach, maybe we could have been able to turn things around a little sooner. But if I have to pick the number one person to blame it on, to me, it would be the front office. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think it's a fair point. I do think.
Do you put any blame on the players?
Well, you got to put some blame on the players, right? Because a lot of those games we should have felt like we could have won. I mean, I do see like, okay, for some of that, Talles Magno wasn't out when we had Munsef at that point. Like, why weren't they playing together? That I put on coaching. But then like other times where it's like we've been set up to score goals. And we are dangerous. We have opportunities to score goals and we don't. Or we're late in the game and we never get the second goal, but we get like 4 shots on target and it just never goes in. That I put on the players.
That's
like,
a good point.
there's only so many times you could get a high expected goal ratio and feel like you should be scoring these goals that you can't put on coaching, right? Like if you're not putting, if the ball is getting to the right places, but then nobody's finishing it, how do you blame that on coaching? And there was times in these, like a lot of these games we never put away. And I think that was our issue this season. We would get a goal, we'd be up, and then we wouldn't put it away. They tie, and then we'd get this draw. And we ran into so many draws this season.
Correct.
So I don't know.
That's a good
I mean,
point.
I think there's blame all around, to be honest.
Agreed.
Even
Nah,
though
all
that's
right,
the
I'm gonna change my percentage now. 50 front office, 40 Cushing, 10 players.
How
Break
much do
it
you
up.
put on Chanel leaving us? No, I'm joking.
I put that 100% on Cushing, but we can talk about that in the off season.
Okay, so let's look at playoff standings. So where are we with playoff standings now?
So we are. I can't believe that game hurt us so much. 13th now in standings. And according to Chris Campbell, gave us what we needed. Jonathan Densa provided us that there's only a 6% chance of us making the playoffs. For us to make it, Charlotte has to get only 2 points in both of their games against Miami, like aggregate 2 points. So either 2 draws or 2 losses.
Okay.
Or a draw and a loss.
So Charlotte needs to get 2 points, would get them to 42 points.
Exactly. And then we need to win.
40, and we need to no, we'll get them to 41 points, but then if we win, we'll have 41 points as well.
Exactly. And
then we'll beat Chicago.
Exactly. And then we have to beat Chicago, and Nashville has to beat the Red Bulls. The problem is that Nashville's got nothing to play for. Nashville's got 46 points. They can't pass Atlanta to get the 6th spot. And so what do? Do they end up playing their squad for the full game? They have nothing to lose to play that game.
Is Nashville playing at home? That's what I want to know. Hold on.
I think Nashville is playing at home, but I could just be making that up. But I'm going to talk slowly so you have some chance to look it up. You really just need to put in Red Bull match versus trying to do it this way. And then also, well, yeah, you really killing me, homie. Just look up Red Bulls.
New York. That's the problem. I hate looking up Red Bull. Oh, yeah, it's in Nashville.
Okay, it's in Nashville.
So, I mean, they do have a home crowd to play for.
Oh, that's a good point.
So
that's a good point.
That's why I thought, okay, if at least they're home, they'll have reason to, like, win in front of their team. And they want to build some momentum into the playoffs. We know how important momentum is.
But then the other thing is that for us to make it, Charlotte, like we said, needs to not win either game against Miami. Miami's not in the playoffs. Messi's going international next week. So there's a good chance there's definitely a chance that Messi's definitely not playing Wednesday, could potentially play the Saturday game.
I don't see him playing either.
I don't see him. Why?
Yeah.
There's nothing to play for.
Yeah, especially, they don't want him to get injured. It's an investment. I don't think he plays either game.
I don't think unless you just want to sell out the crowd, because I think the last game is home for Miami.
Oh, sell out the crowd, make it a little party, get a little concert at halftime.
Get Aerosmith to say, I don't want to miss a thing. So it's tough, man. It's tough because I think Nashville could realistically beat the Red Bulls if they try. And I do think we could beat Chicago if we don't suck. But Charlotte losing twice against Miami seems tough, man.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about the Charlotte versus Miami is they play on October 18th. So that's next Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Next Wednesday. So if they, what I at least hope to want, because I want to make decision day matter, right?
Yes.
Is they don't win.
Yeah.
They could tie, they could tie,
draw.
They could tie or lose. I don't care. But then decision day matters. So we'll be watching our team play as the rest of the league plays, and it'll have this major impact because let's see if we see Nashville up and then we see Charlotte tied with Miami. It's like, oh baby, we in it. But so as long as they lose Wednesday, at least we have something to root for on decision day. Now, do I think it's gonna happen? Very slim. And you said the stats: 6% by
Jonathan Densa.
By Jonathan.
I don't know what Excel you did. What type of math you did to get that 6%, but I believe you.
I respect these Excel wizards, bro. They got their numbers in, their playoff structure. That is real dedication.
My thing is, to me, it's a lose situation, but it's also a bit of a win situation, right? If Miami loses, then we go to decision day and we're like, we could win it, right? Things can work out. We watch the game at the same time. We're freaking out in the press box.
Yeah.
We have the press conference afterwards. That's great. If we get eliminated on Wednesday, we go Saturday as just fans.
No, we go Saturday. We're drinking.
We're
having a good time.
We're just it's all vibes because the season's over.
Yeah.
We're just chilling. So
yeah, I think that's the goal.
So I think it kind of works out either way. I would prefer us to be in the playoffs. But,
or yeah, like a possibility to get into the playoffs, because then we'll take this serious.
Exactly.
If not, we're drinking with the boys.
We out early to Citifield.
Early Citifield.
We're gonna get kicked out of the stadium for being so drunk because we're gonna be chilling.
I agree with this. This is a great idea.
Yes. It's just vibes that last game. It's just like let's go out with the bang.
But one interesting thing: if we already know we're eliminated, do we put in some crazy ass players? Do we call up some guys from the NYCFC to strap up the boots, get in there, papa? Do they call in Javier Gutierrez from the City Boys show? Why give my last name such an American accent?
Well, yeah, we should bring in the young kid.
Oh, the
Maximo.
Yeah.
Maximo Carizo. I think that'll be fire.
That'll be fire, bro.
Yeah. Bringing Chanot back for the last game. Let's get him play center back there. Give him a 1 day. Bring Tati in for the last game, 1 day loan.
They're not coming back to this from the playoff shot.
I know.
Okay. So that's it.
So 6%.
It's so crazy that we went from the 9th playoff spot to what is it? The 9th playoff spot to the 13th, right?
It's insane. I know we talked about like who's at fault for this, but I just want to point out, although we lost against this team, and the boys came out flat, I really don't put on the boys because Pereira and Burke Risa had terrible games, but that the decision to make it to the playoffs was based on this game, like really annoyed me. That we didn't win against Miami, that we didn't have a striker for 3/4 of the season, that we had that CFG and the front office of this league allowed this team to be so poorly handle that lineup for so much of the season. Like I'm going to change it back to 1% for the boys to put them on blame because I'm just so annoyed that we're in this decision. We're in this situation in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what's so disappointing though? Like to go back to that Miami game, like we said, we had leads late in the game. We would be at 40 points right now, and all we would have to do is win. We would control our own fate.
Exactly.
If we just won that game last week.
Although I put that loss on Cushing for those substitutions, which I thought were terrible substitutions. We talked about it last week, but just want to put on that. If you would have taken out Ledesma earlier, if you would have not put in Pellegrini, I think we would have been in a better situation. So yeah, I keep changing. Maybe 60% because I don't know.
By the end, it won't even be a 100% number. It's gonna be like 500% Cushing. All right, let's get into this NYCFC Chicago game.
So this game only matters
depending on results next Wednesday.
Oh, next Wednesday. So we're all Inter Miami fans on Wednesday.
I'm gonna be like the FIFA guy. Today we are Inter Miami. Remember like the guy.
That's good, actually. I should make that a meme. So if this game matters, let's talk about it. Chicago, 10 wins this season, 13 losses, 10 draws. Pretty much close to what we have.
Yeah.
Since they've come back from Leagues Cup, they have 2 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws. So they've been trash. Anything way worse than us.
But they beat Miami in those 2 wins.
Did they?
Yeah.
Miami's eliminated from the playoffs. They trashed too, though, bro. Was Messi playing?
No, he didn't play.
Oh, okay. So you see, that doesn't even matter.
He might have played late, actually. I don't remember.
But these guys got Shaqiri and Kai Kamara. So last time we played them was a 1-1 draw. It was early in the season when we were okay, I guess. I don't know.
This season feels like a whirlwind, bro.
I know.
It feels like a million years and 1 day at the same time.
I know.
Like, there's just been so many storylines, so many emotions. Like, I will say this has been an interesting, this was I think, more intriguing season than last season. Even though it's felt more emotional and
I mean, we had Tati last season. I think you're forgetting. We had Tati. We had a coach change.
well, yeah, I guess you're right.
And we had that Maxi playoff goal. We went on that
I
hot
just feel
run
like
at the
so
end.
much happened though. Like
I
we
know.
got like Perea just bounced on us. Chanel just bounced on us. Maxi was like, I'm coming back home. Like there was just so much. We're recapping the whole season. Like we're done. We need to stop. I don't want to be done. All right.
Bro, I don't know if anyone is actually hopeful that we make it. 6% is pretty low, bro. I'm hoping I have a better chance of winning Lotto tonight than NYCFC making it. So
No, we're not.
we didn't do a season recap though. We'll do that after we lose in the playoffs, hopefully.
Well, yeah, exactly. After we make it to the playoffs. Do you go with the same starting 11?
It depends.
At this point?
It depends.
Sure, just do it. Throw them out there.
I mean, if Miami loses, if Miami wins, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's go with the
yeah.
assumption that Miami wins. This
Yeah.
game matters.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep the same lineup. I mean, I don't know. I like Parks, man. I want to see him in there. I just don't know who you take out. What do you think of? I mean, I don't know if this sounds crazy, but what if you try Parks at the 10? Try Parks at the 10, put Santi on the right, Magno on the left, Munzev. I know he doesn't really
then
play.
take out Jason.
Yeah.
Damn.
I like Jason. No, I like Jason. He didn't have a great game last game. Although he did give an opportunity where I thought he was gonna be an assist
I
goal.
will say he was a lot more quiet last game.
Yeah.
Compared to the previous games.
Yeah.
I thought, and it's because DC's a very physical team.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Jason's not his strong suit. He's
Yeah.
more agile, agility.
Go hit up that gym this summer. This is off season, not the summer.
Stop talking about the off season, bro. You can make me cry. I don't want to hear about off season right now. All right.
So sad.
So starting 11, we bring out the strong squad. Nobody from NYCFC 2. This game matters. Citifield. It's gonna be decision day. All the games play at the same time,
6
right?
o'clock.
Dude, 6 o'clock. Nice. It's not too late, so you could still be hyped.
Well, I'm sorry. If we don't make it and it's just a vibes game, we at Citifield at 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
Pregame at 1 o'clock.
It's just gonna be a good
show
day.
up.
Regardless, it's gonna be a
it's
good
gonna
day.
be a good day
Because we're gonna clinch either a playoff spot or we're gonna have nice drinks.
We're gonna go out with a bang.
Exactly.
A W regardless is what we need that game.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta end the season on a high note. Especially at home, especially at Citifield,
and
with all this stadium talk going on.
Oh yeah, I know you guys want to hear about Cushion and is he out? We'll save that for when the season's out.
Yes, I
potential
agree. First,
coaches.
let's find out what's going on with playoffs and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Final predictions.
We win, man. We win. I'm gonna say I think we play really well at Citifield. I think we're going to go with the bang regardless. So 3-0 NYCFC wins.
I like it. I'll go slightly more realistic, 2-0. But I think we still come out with the win regardless. If we have nothing to play for, we come out there and just ball. If we have something to play for, we still ball.
Exactly.
Let's
see that.
Game.
This isn't important. We'll talk about it. People were upset. You were talking about how everyone was highlighting the Magno Netmeg. Kebe got hyped. He posted on Insta like love, Magno Magico, doing his shit. And people were like, on social media, like, man, like we lost the game. We're not gonna make the playoffs. What are you doing posting stuff about this? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Have your moment.
Exactly. I just wanted to know if you agreed, because usually we don't agree on things like this. But I thought, like, bro, we might be at the playoffs. That's still a beautiful move.
Yeah, and this is helping them get this was major outlets retweeting this. People were like, this is getting his name out there. So this is a big moment for him. I know it wasn't a beautiful goal. I know it didn't lead to us going to the playoffs, but at the same time, what are you just going to be miserable?
Exactly.
Not appreciate a good moment you had?
I know this is crazy, but we're supposed to enjoy watching this game. So I think you got to appreciate the moments the boys show magic. And Talis Magno's good, man.
Wrexham. I was watching Wrexham. They said a good quote. It was soccer is the most important thing you'll watch.
Ooh,
out of the most unimportant things, it's the most important.
That's facts, B.
It's the truth. We love the game.
Did you see Ryan Gosling at the Jets game?
Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Reynolds at the Jets game? And then
Oh,
someone posted like tweet because he just like mad upset, and he was like, when they told you it was football, but it was the wrong type of football.
that's hilarious. And now he's like known for football.
I know.
Soccer.
I can't go back. I don't know if it's just me, but now that I'm a huge soccer head, American football is just so boring and slow to me.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, bro.
If we didn't have fantasy teams,
I would not be invested. I'm still not invested. I have a football fantasy team.
Yeah.
Guys, I haven't done this in a while. If you like the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Any final words?
You got any final words?
Yo, we got a ton of Talus Magno stickers that we need to dump on people. If you like the Talus, oh wait, it's on yours.
Yes, Talus Magno sticker.
Talus Magno sticker, we got a bunch. Meet up with us.
We gonna be twisted. So come through. We'll be raining Talus Magno stickers.
Yep. Later, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.